So today's topic is, say, call by value. So in C++ you might have studied three different topics. First one would be, say, call by value, call by address, and call by reference. So here we will see one example for, say, call by value, how this call by value works. So to study the same call by value concept, let's say we have a class test. Inside class test we create a math function, a method which accepts two integer values from the user and perform a simple arithmetic. That's it. We have another class, a call by value. We write a main function in it and we create a object of class test, object of this class test. Test OB is equal to new test. So as soon as we execute this line, an object OB gets created like this, and what this object will contain? A math function. A math function. Then in the next line we create a two integer variable, int a is equal to 15 and b is equal to 20. So at this line we create a variable a, it has a value 15, and variable b, it has a value 20. Now in the next line we print system.out.println the values of a and b before the call is plus a and plus b. So here you will print the value of a and b as 15 and 20. Then in the next line you give a call to math function. Since math function is a member function of a class test, it must be called with respect to an object. So ob.math. ob.math. You gave a call to a math function, ob.math. And inside that you pass a two values, say a and b. So on calling this function, you are actually calling to this function math. So a and b you have passed as an argument, and you have collected them in integer variable a and I and j. So here another box gets created. The name of this box is I, and another box is created. The name of that box is j. So value of a you have copied it into I, that is the value of I is 15, and value of b you are passing to variable j. So value of j is 20. After that you did some mathematical calculations. I is equal to I multiplied by 2. So now the value of I is 30. J is equal to j divided by 2. So divided by 2 is 10. Okay. Then this function is over. Once this function is over, control returns back to this calling function and execute further. The next line is system.out.println a and b after the call is a and b. Now what will be the value of a and b? The value of a and b here is still 15 and 20, because this is the value of a and b before the function call. You have called this function, you transferred value of a and b here to I and j, you created another variable I and j, you did some mathematical calculation in the variable I and j, but changing variable I and j here does not have any impact here a and b. Still the value of a and b is 15 and 20. So before calling the function, the value of a and b is 15, 20. After calling the function, still the value of a and b is 15, 20. So this is how if you want to use, say, call by value function, call by value, then this is how it works. Okay. Now the next type of calling is call by reference. Now what is call by reference? So before going into technical details of what is called by reference, let me give you one simple example. Let's say there is a student in my class, say whose name is Sachin. Okay, whose name is Sachin. So, and he has his pet name by which, say, his parents, his elder brother, sister would call him, say, Sonu. So this means that I have a student in my class who is having a two name, who is known by two names. Say one is Sachin, another one is Sonu. So does that mean that Sonu will have breakfast twice, lunch twice, dinner twice? He will require 2 beds to sleep. He will wear 2 shirts at the same time. अगर उसको कॉलेज आना है तो वो 2 एक्टिवा लेके आएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. Sonu is one entity, one person. His official name is Sachin. His alias name is Sonu. His reference name is Sonu. Means Sachin and Sonu are two names. They both the names are referring to a single person or a same person. Okay. Agar if I call Sonu, come here, it means Sachin is coming to me. I mean Sachin will come, right? If I say Sachin eat, so Sachin, since Sachin has eaten, I mean I'm confirmed that Sonu has already eaten. Whatever is Sachin, the same thing is reflected by Sonu, and whatever is Sonu, the same thing is reflected by Sachin. Reference. So reference means, let's say you create a variable I, int I. Okay, you create int I is equal to 5. Let's say you have written this name, this statement, int I is equal to 5. When you write this line, what actually you are doing? You are creating a variable I in some memory location. Value you have assigned 5. Let's say the memory location, the address is 1000. At some memory location, address is 1000. There you have created one variable I. So this I is official name, means Sachin. This I is Sachin. Okay. Now if I want to assign a reference name, a alias name, or another name to this variable I will create a reference. In C++, how I have created a reference? Say reference, int reference j is equal to I. This is how I have created a reference in C++. It means I am not creating another variable j. No, I am not creating another variable at new memory location. What I am doing by this line? I am assigning a different name to this variable I. It means now I and j are two names for this variable who is created at the address 1000. So if I change the value of I is equal to 100, so I is 100, so automatically j is also 100. If I say j is equal to 5, so 5 value will be here, so automatically I is equal to 5. If I say I is equal to 100, so automatically j is equal to 100. I and j are two names of a same variable which is created at some memory location. Now, let us see how it works with respect to an object. Class is an object, how it works. Okay. So to study this, let's say we create a variable. Let's say we create a class test. Inside class test, let's say we have two variables a and b. Okay, we have two variables a and b. We have created a constructor. This constructor accepts two arguments from the user, and whatever value user will supply, the value of a and b will be initialized with the value of I and j. This is the role of a constructor. Then in the next function, user will supply one object. Instead of integer value, user will supply one object. And user will do some operation on that object, some mathematical operation on that object. This is the simple class. This we want to study. This we want to now use. So to use this class test, I have created another class, working class, public static void main. I have written main function. Since I want to study this test class, I have created an object of class test. Test OB is equal to new test 15, 20. So I know कि when I will execute this line, the constructor gets called automatically at the time of object creation. So here we are we are passing two integer kind of argument. So this is appropriate constructor for this object. So this constructor will get called and one object will be created. How that object will be created? Let's say OB. So OB is the object name. So that object will get created. What that object will contain? That object will contain two variable A and B, that test constructor function and meth function. This is how this object will look like. So one object gets created and the value is 15, 20. So 15 is passed to variable I and 20 is passed to variable j. Now A is equal to I and B is equal to j. So your A is now 15 and B is equal to 20. So by executing this line, you have achieved this much. You have created an object, you have assigned the value A and B 15, 20. Now system.out.println. Now you want to print the value of A and B here. So you will print like this: ob.a and ob.b. ob.a, what is the value of a variable for object ob.a, and what is the value of b, ob.b. You will print it here. So you will get the value 15 and 20. What is the value of a? 15. What is the value of b? 20. Okay. So we'll get 15 and 20 like we have mentioned here. Now in the next line you call a meth function, ob.meth ob. ob.meth, you call a meth function, you call this meth function for ob object, and also you pass one object ob as an argument. So instead of primitive type, say integer value, you pass an object as an argument. So when you call this line ob.meth ob, this function gets called ob.meth ob. Okay, it means you are calling a meth function for object ob and passing ob itself as an argument. Now test O. Say here you have passed 15. So 15 is an integer value you have collected in integer I. You have passed 20. 20 is an integer value you have collected in j, int j. You are passing ob. What is ob? ob is an object of type test. So you need to collect it in some variable of type test. So you have created test O. So here test O means you are not creating a different object O. Here you are not creating different object O. Here what is happening? A new name is getting assigned to this memory location. Now this object, the object that you have already created, its name is OB. And after once you call this method, you accept here test O. So this object is O. You are doing some calculation. O.A multiplied by 2. So A ki value multiplied by 2 means 30. O.B divided by 2 means 10. So actually you are doing calculation here in this same object. You are not doing somewhere else. So after this call, if you print the value of A and B, you will get 30 and 10. The value has changed. I mean here you are doing the calculation at the same memory location. In the earlier program, you are doing the changes in variable I and j, and I and j were not related to variable A and B. But here you are passing this OB, accepting it in variable O. It means you are not creating a new variable O. You are simply assigning a reference name, a alias name O to already created variable OB. Okay, so this is how the call by reference works, and this is the difference between call by value and call by reference. In call by value sorry, in call by value, you pass a variable, the variable will be passed to another, you pass a value, that value will be passed to another variable, a new variable is created. Whatever changes you do in that new variable is not related with the earlier variable. I mean, those two variables are different. In call by reference, when you when you pass a particular value, when you pass a particular object, okay, so it is not collected into a new variable. It is collected by a reference variable. A reference variable is a variable which has not existing, I mean, independently. Okay, Sonu एक अकेला नाम नहीं हो सकता. Sonu is a name for Sachin. If Sachin is not there, Sonu is not there. Okay, something like that. So this is how the call by this is how the call by reference. Next topic is returning objects. Just like we can pass object as argument, just like we can pass integer as an argument, just like we can return integer value from a function, we can return objects also from a function. Now, how this mechanism works, let's try to study with the help of this simple program. We create a class test, we have a variable a in it, we have a test constructor which accepts a value from the user and initializes the value of a. Now here in this class we have created one function, increment by 10. incr by 10 is a function name. You can write any function name of your choice. Now what this increment by 10 is doing, this increment 10 is doing, like, it is creating a test object here. It is creating a test object here with a value. Let's say user has supplied value 2. Okay, so what is the value of a? 2. So 2 plus 10, that is 12. So increment by 10 is incrementing the value by 10, and then it is returning the temp. What is temp? Temp is an object of type test. Okay, so if you return integer, you write here integer. If you return double, you write here double. What you are returning? You are returning a temp variable. Temp variable is of type test. Test is a type of the variable temp. So that's why you mention the return type here as test. Okay, this is how this is how it will work. Now see how it is going to work. Say we have created a class, a main function. Let's create an object. Test ob1 is equal to new test and parameter 2. So when we will call this line, when we will execute this line, this particular function gets called, constructor gets called automatically. So ob1, so ob1 gets created. Okay, ob1 will have value a test constructor at that increment by 10 function. Okay, now as soon as constructor gets called, it will take the value of I, that is 2, and it will initialize the value of a. So your a gets initialized to 2. Okay, now in the next line you create a reference, test ob2. Test ob2. In the next line, ob2 is equal to ob1 dot increment by 10. Now what you are doing here is, ob1 is there, and with respect to ob1 you are calling that increment by 10 function, and whatever that increment by 10 function will return, whatever value that increment by 10 function will return, you will store it here. What that increment by 10 function will return? It will return a temp value. What is temp? Temp is a variable of type test. So if you return integer value, you collect here it in an integer value. If you return a double value from here, you collect here in a double value. Now here in this case you are returning a test value. A variable, a object of type test you are returning. So we will collect it here in the test variable, that is test variable ob2. that is test variable OB2. So if you call OB1 by increment by 10, so this increment by 10 function will get called. What is the value of A for OB1? That is 2. So 2 plus 1, 12. A new object that is temp. A new object that is temp is created. A temp is created with value A is equal to 12. Now return temp. Return this complete object. Return this complete object. And return where? In OB2. In OB2. Now if you print OB1.A, so OB1.A is this one. OB1.A is this one. So you will get A is equal to 2. If you print OB2.A, OB2.A, so this is your OB2. OB2.A is 12. So you will get OB2.A is 12. Then here, if you call OB2 dot increment by 10. Now OB2 dot increment by 10. So OB2 को 10 increment by 10 करना है. So what is the value of OB2A? That is 12. Okay. So 12 plus 10, it will do 22 and return it here. And if you print OB2.A, you will get 22. So whenever you call this increment by 10 function, it will increment the variable A in it by value 10. So this is how you return an object from a function. See, if you have any doubt, please ask. If you return an integer value, you accept it in integer value. If you return double value, you accept it in double value. If you return object value, you have to accept it in object. If you return test value, you accept it in test variable. If you return student value, you accept it. Now this is garbage collection. Now garbage collection. What is this garbage collection? So in C++, you might have studied a concept of say constructor and destructor. So constructor is used to create an object. Whenever you create a object, constructor gets called automatically at the time of object creation. Destructor is used to destroy the object. Whenever your object goes out of the scope means the last line of that function in which the object is created, your destructor gets called automatically and it will release the memory which was allocated to an object while creation. Now in Java we have studied the constructor, but we have not studied the concept of destructor. As such, destructor mechanism is not there. Instead, Java provides you a more feasible, more reliable, or a better way of releasing the unused memory dynamically, and this mechanism is referred as garbage collection. Now what happens here in this garbage collection? While creating an object, when we create an object, we create an object like say demo D is equal to new demo. We use keyword new operator. We allocate memory using new operator. In C++, if we use new operator and we want to release memory allocated by new operator, there was a delete keyword provided by C++. Delete keyword provided by the C++ language. Now here in Java, when you create an object and the Java system and the system JVM, Java Virtual Machine, when the system feels that this particular set of object is no longer or further needed in the program. Let's say you have written 1,000 lines of code, and in the second line you have created few objects, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects you have created. In the remaining section or in the remaining portion of the code, let's say you are referring object number 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, you are not using it for the long time and in the rest of the program, 4th and 5th object is not getting used. So what JVM will analyze, it will analyze that out of 5 objects, 3 will be used, but 2 will not be used further. So there is no need to retain those 2 objects in the memory because they will occupy space. So let's release the space occupied by those 2 unused objects. I mean, it is a decision taken by the system. It is a decision taken by the system. If the system feels, here we have mentioned garbage collection only occurs sporadically, if at all, during the execution of your program, if at all. I mean, this particular thing is not in the hands of a programmer. If the system feels, if at all system feels, yeah, I should release the memory occupied by this particular object, this object is no longer needed in the program, the system will automatically deallocate the memory occupied by that particular object, if at all it feels. When it will feel, we don't have any answer for that. Okay, this is the logic of, say, garbage collection. So here, whenever we create an object using new keyword, we allocate a memory in the heap area, memory heap area. And there is a garbage collector module. When it sees that this particular object is no longer needed, unreachable object, I mean program खत्म होने में बहुत समय बाकी है, but still अब ये ऑब्जेक्ट का कहीं भी आगे रेफरेंस नहीं है, ये ऑब्जेक्ट कहीं भी आगे यूज नहीं हुए हैं. कई बार ऐसा होता है ना, हम लोग वेरिएबल बना देते हैं बट उसको यूज नहीं करते, अनयूज्ड वेरिएबल. जब यूज करना ही नहीं है तो फिर उसको बनाया क्यों, और बनाया तो फिर उसको हमने कुछ समय के लिए बनाया था, बट वो समय निकल जाने के बाद आगे हमको उसका कोई काम नहीं है. तो जब ऐसी कभी सिचुएशन आपके प्रोग्राम में होती है, सो गार्बेज कलेक्टर इज देयर. सो गार्बेज कलेक्टर विल कीप ट्रैक ऑफ ऑल द अनयूज्ड ऑब्जेक्ट, अनरीचेबल ऑब्जेक्ट्स, एंड इफ एट ऑल इट फील्स कि मुझे वो मेमोरी को रिलीज कर देना चाहिए, देन दैट पर्टिकुलर मेमोरी विल बी रिलीज्ड. अदरवाइज योर प्रोग्राम functioning, the execution of your program will be as usual, normal. Programmer won't see any activity happening say by garbage collection, and your programming logic is not affected by this garbage collection process.